Hey guys, in this video we're going to look at the volume of spheres. And it's not a very difficult thing to do here. We got our formula which says the volume equals 4 times pi times the radius cubed, all divided by 3. Okay, or you might see it written out as 4/3 pi r cubed. Same thing, no big deal, okay? So the only thing you really need to know about the sphere to find the volume, you just have to know about the radius. Okay? So once you know that radius, you got all you need. All right. So get your calculators ready. And here we go. Example number 1. It's a sphere, and I already know that the radius is 5.1 kilometers. So the volume is going to equal 4 times pi times 5.1 cubed, all divided by 3. All right, so I'm going to punch that into my calculator. And for right now, I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. So we'll get an exact answer in terms of pi. And then I'll plug in pi. I'll plug in like 3.14 or press the pi button on my calculator and get an approximated answer. So what we got here is 5.1 cubed. That means 5.1 times itself 3 times. So 5.1 times 5.1 times 5.1. And that's 132.651. Oops. All right, so I'm doing the rest of the work in my calculator here. I multiplied that 132.651 by 4, and I divided it by 3, and I left the pi alone. So my volume would be 176.868, and I still haven't multiplied by pi, so that's what we call an exact answer in terms of pi. What that means is I just haven't multiplied by pi yet. I left the pi symbol there. And the reason it's exact is because, pi goes on forever and ever and ever. So now I'm going to do that. I'm going to approximate our answer using the pi button on my calculator. So 176.868 times pi. And I get a 555.647. Cool, and we'll just go there to the thousands place. And there is a good answer. All right, guys, so you see 2 possible answers. One's in terms of pi, one is as a decimal, rounded to the nearest thousandth. All right, I'm going to do that on all these problems. I'm going to give the answer in terms of pi and the answer rounded to the thousandths place. So question number 2. In question number 2, they don't give me the radius, they give me the diameter. So to find the radius, I'll just cut it in half. I say I only want half of that. So half of 8 is 4. So my radius is 4. Oh, I forgot to talk about units in the last problem. Since we're talking about volume, it's going to be units cubed. So this will be kilometers cubed. Alrighty, so back to number 2. We started with the diameter and we cut it in half to get the radius. And I know that the volume is equal to 4 times pi times that radius cubed, all divided by 3. So my volume is equal to 4 cubed, 4 times 4 times 4. All right, and now I'm going to multiply that 64 by 4 and divide it by 3. So 64 times 4 divided by 3. And I got 85.333 repeater. And I never did anything with the pi. I left it in terms of pi. I never multiplied by pi. So there's an answer that's in terms of pi still. That's a good answer. If I wanted to round it to the nearest thousands, I would take that 85.333 repeater and multiply it by pi. So I'm going to do that using the pi button on my calculator. And I get 268.083. And that is meters cubed. Cool. So I have my answer in terms of pi underlined in blue, and my answer to the nearest thousandth in red. So both good answers. Next. Alrighty guys, now we're going to look at surface area of the spheres. So volume, we were talking about filling the sphere. How much stuff can I put inside the sphere? Now we're talking about surface area. So surface area is like what it takes to wrap the sphere. Say I got you a basketball for your birthday and I want to cover it with wrapping paper. How much wrapping paper would I need to cover? Nobody's going to wrap a basketball like that. How much leather would it take to cover the baseball? So how much it takes to cover a sphere. And the formula for that, the surface area is equal to 4 times pi times the radius squared. So it's almost like the area of a circle, but just multiplied by 4. So that's how we're going to find the surface area of a sphere. And just like the volume, all you need to know is the radius. So in the number 3 example here, the radius is 5. That's the only thing I need before I can find the surface area. Alrighty, so the formula says that the surface area is equal to 4 times pi times the radius, which is 5 squared. So that's going to be 4 times pi, and then 5 squared, 5 times itself, is 25. So that's 4 times pi times 25, and we're leaving our answer right now in terms of pi. So that means pi is just kind of hanging out, and I'm doing 4 times 25, which is 100. And the units is feet, and it's area, so it's feet squared. And there is an exact answer right there in terms of pi. So cool, no big deal. That was super fun. And then if I want a answer rounded to the nearest thousandth, well, I'm going to do 100, and I'm going to do times pi using the pi button on my calculator. And I'm going to get 314.159. Still feet, still squared, because it's still area. So that tells me how much of something I need to cover, to wrap, to totally cover the surface of that sphere. All right, so let's try this example 4 over here. Now in example 4, they give you the diameter, so you know exactly what you need to do. You've been training for this moment all your life. If the diameter is 18, then the radius must be 9. So the radius is 9 inches. Radius. So all you had to do was cut it in half. If the diameter is 18, well, the radius is 9. So now I can use my formula for the surface area, which is 4 times pi times the radius, which we now know is 9 squared. So the surface area equals 4 times pi, and 9 squared is 81. And so my exact answer in terms of pi would be 4 times 81, 324. And it's in terms of pi, because I haven't multiplied by pi yet. The units is inches squared. So that's a good exact answer in terms of pi. But now I could multiply by pi to get an answer rounded to the nearest thousandth, a decimal answer. 324 times pi button on my calculator. Oops, I hit a wrong button. Try it again. 324 times the pi button on my calculator says that the answer is 1017.876. Still inches, still squared. So there's an answer that's not in terms of pi. All right, guys, I hope you learned a whole lot. I hope you learned the difference between volume, which is filling the sphere, and surface area, which is covering the sphere. Their formulas are different too. With the volume formula, you're going to have to cube the radius and then multiply it by 4 and divide it by 3. and do something with the pi if you want to, or leave it in terms of pi. And with the surface area, it's just 4 times pi r squared. You should be very familiar with pi r squared because we've been using it a lot. All right, have a good day. Make good choices.